week's episode of Tiffany Talks. Okay, so let me get the chat going for you guys and the light popping. Okay, so all right, so Tiffany Talks was a show that was created to help everyday people live extraordinary lives. And so it's an open dialogue, right? So you guys are able to chime in and let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, and I will check the comments and see if I can answer any of your questions or things like that. But the whole object of this show is for us to get to know each other about all kinds of topics. So today, I'm actually going to share with you my own experience with stress eating and how I overcame it. Because many people think that once you become a fitness coach or you're a trainer, that you just never encounter these issues, right? Like it just never really comes up that you have to deal with, eating or motivation or things like that. It's not true, right? We're all human. And I want to stay absolutely transparent with you guys about everything so that it can encourage you in your lives to do whatever you need to do to overcome the challenges that confront you on a daily basis. So if you like this show, right, I want you to do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. So last week I saw a snapshot and it said that we had 46 new subscribers. That's not enough, you guys. So if you like this topic, if you like this channel, please share the channel and ask your friends and family to subscribe because it's really vital information for everybody's lives. So if you allow me, I will share what I have been going through, which led me to an incident of stress eating that I recognized it. It was almost like I rose out of my body and I was watching myself. And I'm like, what are you doing, right? And so it's a series of events. And I'm going to share that story just to be transparent. So actually, it started back in December, right? So I was driving my car and it got this noise like, I'm like, what is that, right? And it was like a weird noise. And I had to make an appointment in order to take it to the shop. And they were all backed up. So I made an appointment. But with all the issues with cars these days, they couldn't see me for a long time. So I made an appointment some time out. I just drove the car very little. Everything was fine. And when I took the car in, I had this feeling like I'm going to be getting a new car. So they gave me a loaner and I had a brand new car and it lasted for 2 months. All is great. Now, I want to point something out. Just as things can go upside down, they can also go right side up. So that was great. I got to drive this brand new Land Rover, right, for 2 months. But then when I went to pick up my car, they're like, something that's really wrong. It's either going to be very expensive or you should just sell the car. So I was like, wow. So I really didn't plan on getting a new car right then. So this just happened a couple of weeks ago. So I sold the car and I had another car lined up that I was going to get that day. But something was wrong with that car, right? So then I couldn't get that car, so I didn't have a car. So that was problematic, right? So luckily they gave me a loaner, so I was getting a loaner as I'm trying to figure out what kind of car I'm gonna get. Stress is mounting, doom, 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 doom. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, I'm from California, and even if I don't need to go anywhere, like we are car dependent, right? So that's like the stress level was about right here, but it's like, it's okay. And then you guys know, look, I love my house. I love my house so much, right? Look at this beautiful scenery and we film and then the windows and everything. And I've always said that I wanted to buy this house. And then the owner writes me a letter that, you know what, he's moving back in the house in 2 months. And so I have to move. Here comes the stress level. Doom, 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 doom. And it's simmering right here. So now I'm like, wow, I gotta find another house. I gotta find another car, right? And I still get to work and be productive. So then, okay, I'm dealing with this. I go look at some houses. I looked at like 10 houses. None of them are suitable because they just don't have the right layout. Doom, 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 doom. Stress level mounting, mounting, mounting. And then, you guys, this is a personal thing. So then I'm like, okay, well, let me dive into my work and be really productive. And so I'm starting watching some of the videos and don't laugh, you guys, don't laugh, right? So I'm looking at some of my videos and I'm like, is one of my teeth longer than the other? Like, am I getting long in the tooth? Like that took the stress level like, whoo, like right away, like, they're like, oh my God, do I need braces? So then now I got like another problem, another high ticket problem. Like, how am I gonna live with braces? So I'm looking at my teeth. I'm like, oh my God, don't start looking. Don't start looking at my teeth. Okay, so I'm like, oh my God, so I have to deal with that. And so now I'm just have all of this stuff ruminated inside of me, right? That doesn't have an immediate resolution. So normally I like to say, okay, well, what's the issue? What issue that's challenging you? Let's find a solution. Now there's one thing that I do on a regular basis, you guys, and this is point number one. And it may not help you right away, but it will help you in the long run. So my stress level with those things is up here. It's up here. And then my support system, so I talk to my guy. I'm like, you want somebody to feel sorry for you, right? He's like, suck it up. You're a coach. I'm like, what? Right. So then I'm feeling like unsupported, victim, helpless by myself, all of this thing, right? So the first thing I do is I take a deep breath, right? And I say, listen, you guys, listen to what I'm saying. Everything is happening for me, not to me. So I really believe that, like, all the challenges in our life are happening for you, not to you. So now that doesn't take away from the fact that it's happening, right? But you know that there's going to be something greater afterwards. And that can give you like a little bit of peace, right? But still, as I looked at house after house, tooth after tooth, things that were going wrong, then I got the scale. I had even gained some weight. So then you start thinking like sabotage, right? And it's sort of like a basic human instinct that when you're down, you just want to stay down somehow. Like, I don't know what that, but you want to stay down. So then I don't want to cook, you guys. I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like doing anything, right? So then when you go down and just pay attention to your behavior, you start stressing out, right? Then your energy to do things to help yourself starts to deplete. So you don't want to like clean up, and you don't want to cook, and you don't want to do things that actually nurture you. So you stop doing those things. And if you're not cooking, then what do you want to do? You want to eat junk food, right? Because it's right there. It's right there. So I had bought, it's spring break this week, and to top it off, it's spring break. So my kids are at home, and it's okay. So there's chips. There's our little vegan ice cream that we get. That's amazing for dessert, which I had for breakfast one morning. And what else? There's like French fries for the air fryer. There's all of these things, right? So the kids, I don't want to cook. They're waking up and they're putting fries in the air fryer. I'm like, don't eat fries. I'm being a bad mom. Stress, 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 stress. So I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I go and I grab the bag of chips and I'm eating them, right? And what's happening is that crunching is somehow relaxing, right? And it's a mindless crunch, 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 crunch. It's mindless. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, I feel like I was elevating and hovering above my body, watching myself, but somehow I felt like this sort of repetitive motion was helping me, right? And then, you crumble up the bag and you put it away. And don't even mention chocolate chip cookies. You guys know that's my weakness, right? So those were gone, thank God. Those were already gone. So the chips were down. And then actually it's right before the last chip, I said to myself, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I had to bring myself back. So instead of my higher self watching what was going down, I got my stressful self and my higher self right there, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So you bring yourself back to a conscious place and you ask yourself, what are you doing? And when I asked myself that question, I realized that what I was doing was sabotaging myself, right? And is that what I want to do? Is that the place where I want to be? So you guys get to ask yourself. So number one, you guys can write this down if you want to. Number one, you say everything is happening for me, not to me. So that's to bring you, like, that brings you through that. Even though you're in this moment right now, and this too shall pass, right? So you know it's going to pass. Number two, be connected with what you're doing, because stress eating is a disconnect. It's a disconnect from your present moment. It's a disconnect from solutions. It's a disconnect from your life, right? And it creates sabotage. So ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just stop and just call yourself out. What are you doing? So when I realized what I'm doing, I'm like, I'm doing things that I knowingly know are gonna hurt me in the long run, right? Eating junk food. I was staying up late at night looking at realtor.com, calling places. I was not getting any sleep. I was going to sleep like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was feeling not so animated for my workout. And so this stuff just started mounting. And when I finally called myself to the point of that it's what I'm doing is affecting who I'm being, right? So it's hard to be positive. It's hard to be solution oriented when you're doing things that continually create self-sabotage. So, number 2, create that awareness. Number 3, okay, here's the next tip on how to stop stress eating. Drink more water, right? So what I started to do is I realized that I was dehydrated. And I remember that because when we did the online retreat, it was so beautiful. We were so hydrated, we were eating healthy, we were working out. I dropped weight that week so easily. And I'm like, what did I do? What was I doing then that I'm not doing now? And somehow I stopped drinking. I love water, you guys. I stopped drinking water. Like, what is this, right? So the first thing you do is you start to, number 3, stay hydrated. Get yourself back to a healthy habit, right? So I started drinking the water, and I love to drink it through my CCC cup because I like drinking out of straws because the straw somehow soothes me. So it's kind of like the crunch is like, go, 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 go. And as I'm drinking the water, I get a little bit more calm, So you can drink the water. And then the next thing that you do is that your body will actually respond more to healthy food than to the junk food if you give it a chance. Now, what we believe in our mind is that the go-to junk food is easier, so we go to it. It's got like high salt, high sugar content, right? And that's like getting on a drug. So you're on that drug, you need more, you need more. So the way to break the habit is to eat something healthy. It's almost like a wake-up call for your body. Eat something from Mother Nature. So for me, which brought me back a little bit, was I looked on the counter and I saw this orange. And I peeled the orange and I ate it. And it was juicy and it was sweet. It was hydrating. It was satisfying for the moment. And then that feeling of satisfaction and having done something good gives you calm. Okay. I can handle this. I can do good in a bad situation. So so there's drinking water and then eat something from nature. I think that's number 5. So number 1, everything is happening for you, not to you, right? Right? Number 2, what are you doing? Ask yourself, what are you doing? So stop the incessant movement, like the mindless hand to mouth movement, and ask yourself, what are you doing? Number 3, stay hydrated. That means drink some water. And if you don't like it, put some ice in it, throw some lemon in it. Like, I love water. It relaxes me. You drink the water. And when you get hydrated, you can make better decisions, you guys. That's another thing. When you're dehydrated, it's almost like a car without oil, right? A car without oil doesn't run very well, right? So one kid running up the stairs. Okay, so when you are dehydrated, you're not making the best decisions. Okay, so you make the best decisions when your brain has all the fuel it needs to think. So I started drinking more water. That calms you down. Number 4, right? Even they'll tell you, like with kids, if kids go to school and they're malnourished, right, that they've had junk food and everything, they don't learn as well, right? That's why we give your kids like a healthy meal. So if you do that to yourself, right, you're actually not in the best position to make good decisions about your life, right? Because you're like on junk food craze out. You're literally on drugs. So how do you reverse that? You eat something healthy and your body will respond to like suck it all in, right? So I ate the orange and that was able for me to like, okay, ooh, I feel a little bit better. What else can I do? What else can I do? So start your healthy habit back just one day. Just start it with one choice at a time, right? So instead of going for the thing that has been taking you down sabotage row, eat something healthy, and that's going to trigger a feeling inside of you like, I'm okay. I can do this. I can overcome it. Just eating that one thing, you guys, just that one thing, okay, is really going to help you to think clearly, right? The other thing is, which I really, really noticed, and stress is really about like, you know, they call it wits. Hey, so they're at your wits end. They say at your wits end. That's because when you don't have your wits about you, your brain is short circuiting. So have you ever seen a kid like that they're younger and they don't get enough sleep and they're like spiraling out? They're just spiraling out of control. If you guys have ever had kids, you know, like when they're not rested, they are irrational, they're crying, they're cranky, and usually they're high on sugar because you give them so much juice or cookies or crackers to keep them quiet, right? So they're unable to function. Their wits, they don't have their wits about them then. So that's what happens with us too, right? When we don't get enough sleep, right? So when you don't get enough sleep, your organs don't get a chance to replenish and reset, right? And so every organ, every cell in your body is irritated. And it's irritated. And that level of irritation, right, leads to that stress level rising, right? So your organs are irritated when they don't get enough sleep, right? And those are your involuntary organs. I'm talking about your heart, your liver, your kidney, your spleen. All these things are irritated. So you got to rest. The reason why you must rest is because that's when your organs sort of repair and revitalize themselves. So go to bed. Now, some people, wait a minute. Some people, when they're depressed, they sleep all the time, right? And they're always asleep, right? So that's not really stress eating. That's a little bit of depression. And the opposite of that is like you got to get moving and you got to get your organs circulating. You got to get the oxygen in your body. So like if you find yourself in bed all day, that's not a good solution either. So like if you're like me, like it's like do it, and you got to slow down, right? Then getting a proper night's rest, and they recommend. Studies have shown that the sleep between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. are the most vital for rejuvenating our organs. So just remember that. If you guys can do that, sleep between those hours. And the last thing is meditate, right? Meditate. And meditate, another word for meditate is prayer, you guys. It's prayer, right? So that is being quiet in a faith-based space, right? Hear what I'm saying? Being quiet in a faith-based space, right? So you don't actually have to go anywhere, right? Oh, there's another thing besides that. You don't have to go anywhere, but be with yourself, okay? Be with yourself for a minute in your vision that everything's gonna work out, right? So if you're with yourself in your vision, like, okay, I'm gonna find the right house. I'm gonna find the right car. Money's gonna come easily and effortlessly. Breathe. Have things worked out for me in the past? Yes, they have, right? Is there evidence that things can work out? Yes, there are. Breathe. Can you ask for support from your higher power? Yes, I can. God, please help me through this, right? So you can bring yourself, your conscious self, back to your spiritual self. Bring your conscious self back to your spiritual self. And your spiritual self it believes and it had faith and it knows that this is just a journey, you guys. It's just a journey, right? So like when you do that, then you take yourself out of that fight or flight mode, like the danger that exists, you are creating in your mind. So calm your mind, right? Calm your mind, right? The danger that you are creating when you're stressed out, okay? Unless something is chasing you, unless your life is that you're creating it in your mind, right? So you bring yourself down to the calm. your quiet, faith-based space, right? And breathe. And the last thing that I like to do, and it might be helpful for you, and this really, really helps me, you guys. When you listen to or watch something motivational about someone who has overcome obstacles and reached success. Why? Because when you're in that space and you're not thinking probably because you're dehydrated and all this stuff like you're crazy or at your wits end, right? Then sometimes you need to nourish your mind with hope from other people's stories, right? So YouTube is great for that, right? They have so many motivational things, so you can read a book that motivates you. But I like to listen to motivational stories that actually elevate me. They go, wow, like, they got through all that. Surely I can get through this, right? And even now, like what's going on in the world, you guys, and everybody has their own struggle and strife, and it's not diminished because somebody else is struggling with something bigger than you, right? So don't diminish what's going on with you, what's important to you, if there's somebody else that's struggling with something bigger, because guess what? It doesn't help you. Their bigger struggle is not really helping you, but what it can do is help you realize that it's overcomable, right? That you can overcome it. So that's why I like to get stories of people overcoming obstacles into my brain, because it reminds me that I can overcome this too. All right, you guys, so those are my lessons. I see Wendy was typing that in the chat. Thank you so much. Now I will open this up for some questions. If you guys have some questions, any way that I can support you in what you're going through, this is a little Q&A. If you're watching this video after the fact and you have some questions, I will be checking the messages throughout the day in between my rigorous house hunting, right? I'll be checking the messages. And there's another thing that you can do when you're stress eating after you do all those things, right? After you do all those things, you can do something nice for somebody else, right? When you do something nice for somebody else, you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better, right? When you feel better, you do better. And if it's not somebody else, if you're in the habit of always doing for other people, then do something nice for yourself. You guys, do something nice for yourself. So these are the recommendations I have, because I'm actually in the middle of it right now. I'm in the middle of it and I wanted to share with you. I just almost forgot. Oh my God. So what I created, I hope you guys are still here with me. What I created for that give, right? Because I had a feedback talk about the TRFC and I want to make it better. I want to be the best coach I can be for you guys, is a 7-day shrink your waist challenge. So this is going to be a challenge that's available for everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, on the TRFC, and it's free. Total give, free. It's shrink your waist for 7 days. And what are we going to do? So we're going to be on YouTube next week, working out every day at 9 a.m. Oh, Cheryl, thank you so much. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Thank you, sweetheart. She just made a beautiful donation. I appreciate that. So listen, 7 days a week, we're gonna work out, okay? 9 a.m. If you can't do the lives, you can do it that day. Now, you guys can go to, I'm gonna put the link to the description box in this video, and you can go, there's a section on my gym, the Tiffany Rothe Fit Club, that's completely free, that you can come in and have community. You're gonna go there, and there you will find a food plan. It'll be available on Friday, right? And that food plan is what we're gonna all do together, right? We're all gonna do it together, being healthy, eating healthy, staying hydrated, right? Getting enough sleep. So part of our challenge is we're gonna be hydrated, we're gonna be positive, we're gonna get enough sleep, and we're gonna do it together. So on Sunday, we're gonna have a Zoom call. All right, okay, we're gonna have a Zoom call, and we're all gonna get on point about getting focused for the week and what we're gonna create. And then we'll have an accountability call that Wednesday, right? So you guys are gonna be taken care of. All of this is free, and this is for us to create community. So Wendy asked a question, how do you get over guilt, right? How do you get over guilt? This is the thing. So the guilt is attached to you. The guilt is attached to you. Somehow, like, if you're feeling guilty, then it's because you're actually thinking that you are bad or you are wrong, right? And if you're feeling like you're bad or you're wrong, I'm telling you, you're not bad and you're not wrong, right? And the only thing that you can turn your awareness to is what can I do differently to create a different result, right? So sometimes if you feel like I ate this and I feel so bad about myself, right? Then it makes you want to eat more, right? And I want to listen, you guys, you're always a beautiful human. You're always good enough. You're always worthy. Whether you stress eat, whether you don't stress eat, whether you're overweight, whether you're underweight, like wherever you are, you're always good enough. You're always lovable. You're always worth it, right? And that's you. That's the essence of you. That's that soul I was talking about. That you're okay. You're good, okay? If you want a different result on the things that you do, then do something differently. So that's why the second one is, what are you doing? What are you doing? So when you find yourself after you've already stress eaten, like you can't be stuck in the past, right? You can't be stuck in yesterday. You can't even be stuck in the last 5 minutes if they don't serve you. Then you say, what can I do to create a change, right? And that's why it's always better when you get in a group of positive and like-minded individuals, because it helps you stay uplifted, right? And that's why I like create these challenges, and that's why I'm here for you guys, because hey, it's better for me too to share with you. But what you can do is you can ask yourself and go through all those steps, but what can I do differently? Like, you know what, instead of going to bed at midnight, I can go to bed at 10. I can do that, right? And you go to bed at 10, you get some rest, and you wake up the next day and you're making better decisions, right? If you ate really bad, what can I do differently? Right? I can drink all 8 ounces of water right now to stay hydrated. Woo! So I can make better decisions, right? I can pray, right? So I can make better decisions. So those are the things that you can do afterwards. And remember, don't attach it to yourself. Like, you know, what you do is not who you are. You know, we are human beings, not human doings, right? So you're a human being having an experience in this body, and that human being is always amazing and great, right? What you're doing affects the quality of your life. All right, checking in. Thank you. Oh, Miyuyen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So any other questions? I think Cheryl said she's not going to eat any more pickles for the rest of the week. Okay. All right. So every time you want to get a pickle, what are you going to get instead? Apples are awesome. Apples are awesome. If you want something salty, do a grapefruit. Do a grapefruit, right? People, I don't like grapefruit, but if you find out that grapefruit actually has something in it called lycopene, I think it's lycopene or lysine. I had a memory, but it helps your body burn fat. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so have something. If you want something salty, do grapefruit or something like that. All right, I'm signing out, you guys. I'm going on the house hunt. So listen, we are all in this together, because pretty soon we won't be here anymore, right? We'll be somewhere else. So I'll keep you posted on the house hunts, and check Instagram, maybe my story. So if you want to follow me on my house hunting journey, then we can do that together till I find a house. All right, love you guys. Bye. Share this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like and leave a comment. Love you guys. Bye.